Okay, boys and girls, we are estimating the sum or difference. Remember, sum means we're adding and difference means we're subtracting. So estimate means we're going to round, then add or subtract. This problem one tells us we're going to add. So first thing I have to do is round the numbers. It does not tell me how to round the numbers. So since they both have 5 digits, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'm going to round to the nearest 10,000. So I'm going to look at my 10,000 place and then circle its neighbor to the right. Since that is less than 5, I'm going to keep the 6 and then substitute zeros. For 19,375, again, I'm rounding to the nearest 10,000 because that's what I did here. So this is my 10,000, that's my 1,000. That 9 lets me know that I'm going to push up or shove up that 1 to a 2. So it's going to be 20,000. I'm adding, so we're adding the zeros. 6 plus 2 is 8. So I estimated this sum to be 80,000. For number 2, I look and I'm like, okay, I notice that I'm subtracting here. There's only 4 digits, so therefore I'm going to round to the nearest 1,000. 4,874. There's the 1,000. I'm going to circle the number to the right. That is above 5, so I'm going to shove the 4 to a 5. And everything else becomes 0. That would become a 0, 0, 0. So 5,000. 2,530, same thing. The 2 is my thousands. I'm going to circle my hundreds. It's 5. 5 or more means we shove it up. So the 2 becomes a 3, and then everything else is zeros. So I'm going to subtract 5,000 minus 3,000, which will leave me with 2,000. Okay, tonight you had to do through 10. So let's look at the next page and make that a little bit bigger. Okay, on 3 and 4, I'm going to help you figure out what you're going to add and subtract. But I'll let you figure the last part out yourself. Again, these have 5 digits, so I'm going to round to the nearest 10,000. 2 is in the 10,000 place. The 7 is in the 1,000. That means I'm going to round up 3 and then put in my zeros, which makes it 30,000. I'm going to do the same thing here. This is my 1,000. That's my 10,000. And 1 is the 10,000 place. 4 is the 1,000 place. Since it's less than 5, I keep the 1. And then everything turns into zeros. So you can do the last part on your own. For number 4, I look at how many digits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 digits. So I'm going to round to the nearest 10,000. Well, 53,744. Underline, circle. Since the 1,000 place is less than 5, I'm going to keep that 5. I'm going to keep the 5 and then put in my zeros. Makes that 50,000. On 41,086, 4 is in the 10,000 place. 1 is in the 1,000 place. That 1 means I keep the 4 and everything becomes zeros. Then you can do the rest. Okay, on number 5, it doesn't give us the rectangles to put our numbers in, but we're going to do it the same way. There's 5 digits, so I'm going to round to the nearest 10,000. I could choose to round to the nearest 1,000 or 100, but it doesn't tell me what to do, so I'm going to just round to the nearest 10,000. 6 is in the 10,000 place. 8 is in the thousands place. 68,451. The 8 is more than 5, so it's going to make this 6 turn into a 7, and then we keep the zeros. So I know that is 70,000. I'm subtracting 40,695. The 4 is in the 10,000. The 0 is in the 1,000 place. So I'm going to keep it 40,000. And then you would, of course, write your answer there. For number 6, 34,685. The 3 is in the 10,000. The 4 is in the thousands place. So I'm going to keep the 3. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 zeros. 27,043. I'm going to, the 2 is in the 10,000. The 7 is a 1,000. That 7 means I'm going to push this up to a 3. And then substitute zeros for the rest. Make sure you pay attention to your sign, whether you're going to add or subtract. 7, 908,465 minus 653,299. We're estimating, remember. So this time there's 6 digits, so I'm going to round to the nearest 100,000. 9 is in the 100,000 place. The 0 is in the 10,000. That's less than 5, so I'm going to keep that 9. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Substitute zeros for the remaining digits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Minus, we're subtracting 653,299. The 6 is in the 100,000. The 5 is in the 10,000. 5 in the 10,000 means I'm going to, I think I need to make that bigger. I'm going to shove the 6 up to a 7. That's the only change I make. Everything else is zeros. Okay, for number 6, not number 6, I apologize. Number 8, 8, 9, and 10 is what we're doing tonight. We'll move that up a little bit. Again, 6 digits, I'm rounding to the nearest 100,000. 4 is in the 100,000, so I'll circle my 10,000. It's above 5, so it's going to change that 4 to a 5. And then everything else is zeros. 5, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. So that rounds to 500,000. This was pretty easy because 200,081. Obviously, that's just going to stay 2,000. That's the 100,000 place, and that is the 10,000 place. Pay attention to what you're going to do, add or subtract. 9, 395,408. That rounds to, I'm going to underline my 100,000, draw a circle around 10. 9 is bigger than 5, so that 3 becomes a 4. Then we just substitute zeros. So that is 400,000. I'm subtracting here 102,677. That's the 100,000. That is the 10,000. Since it's a 0, we're going to keep it as is, the 1, and then we're putting zeros. And then you can finish it on your own. Okay, number 10, I have 6 digits. So I'm going to round to the nearest 100,000. 5 is in my 100,000 place. 6 is 10,000 place. It's more than 5, so it changes that 5 to a 6, and we then put in our zeros. So 563,427 rounds to 600,000. plus 178,023. We're going to round that to the nearest 100,000. 1 is in the 100,000. 7 is in the 10,000. So therefore, that 7 is going to make this 1 become a 2. And then we substitute zeros. And we are adding on that one. So make sure you're adding and subtracting correctly and that you're rounding to the appropriate place value.